1948. The United States has just emerged from World War II. The conflict is over. Life is resuming, business is picking up again, and sports are back in action. At the time, professional sports were a far cry from the wildly popular collegiate leagues. Most professional franchises were concentrated on the East Coast. In fact, in 1948, not a single MLB team was based on the West Coast. But demographics in the US were changing. Regions once dismissed as mere postcard landscapes were booming. One of these cities was named Denver. In 1948, the NBL, the little-known ancestor of the NBA, made a bold move by establishing a franchise in Colorado. The team's name? The Denver Nuggets, a nod to Colorado's famed gold rush. Unfortunately, within just 2 seasons, the Nuggets folded, far ahead of their time. Professional basketball returned to Denver in 1967. It wasn't the NBA, but the ABA, a colorful and exciting league determined to surpass its older sibling. Enter the Denver Rockets, a team that didn't make much of a splash on the court. But regardless, basketball was back in the Rockies and here to stay. In 1972, the franchise decided to change its name. Tired of being confused with the NBA's Houston Rockets, they rebranded as the Denver Nuggets, a team with no official connection to its 1948 predecessor. When the ABA merged with the NBA in 1976, the Nuggets were one of 4 teams absorbed by the league. When we think of the 1980s, we think of an NBA taking flight. We think of Magic Johnson, of Larry Bird. Yet, the top scorer of that decade was the underrated Alex English. Lacking charisma, he didn't captivate the public, but this smooth and elegant forward scored more points in the 80s than anyone else. To this day, English remains one of the most prolific scorers in NBA history.
Does the shots again from the line. English twists.
Alex English.
Getting buckets? Check. But what about defense? In an era when basketball was played with a rugged, physical style, Denver consistently had the worst defense in the league. Under such circumstances, it was impossible to dream of a championship. After 11 years of loyal service, Alex English left in 1990. Without ever making magazine covers, Denver at least managed to be competitive in the 80s. However, with English gone, the fall was immediate. Once again, the Nuggets stood out for their pitiful defense. In 1991, the team conceded an average of 153 points in the first 7 games of the season. Denver sat dead last in its conference, but could console itself with the 4th pick in the 1991 draft. That's when this team, unfamiliar with the concept of defense, crossed paths with a player who only knew that word.
This could be a rebuilding year for Denver. They could get healthy real quickly in the next 2-3 years.
Do you agree, Hubie, that most probably Mutombo the next man?
I like him. He's an outstanding shot blocker, a great rebounder, and he is an intimidator.
He won NBA draft. The Denver Nuggets select Dikembe Mutombo from Georgetown University.
He's 25 years old, very high IQ young man, very intelligent.
I know that Denver is a good team, and I'm capable to run with his system. I think we're going to have a much fun next year.
Congo restera un et indivisible.
Nous ne sommes pas des Européens, nous ne sommes pas des Occidentaux.
It is rare for NBA history to take us outside of the United States, and even less so to Central Africa. We are in 1966 in Leopoldville, or rather we should say, Kinshasa. Mobutu had taken power and wanted to expel colonial influence. This was the Zaire annexation. It's in this brand new Kinshasa that Dikembe Mutombo was born in 1966. Dikembe was destined for a career as a doctor. while his tall stature pushed him to try basketball. However, in 1987, it was indeed to pursue medical studies that he joined Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. But the faculty's coach, the legendary John Thompson, immediately saw great potential in Mutombo. At 21, the Congolese player had no experience with organized basketball.
Did you have any idea when you went to Georgetown on the academic scholarship that you were going to play basketball?
No, I was not convinced until the beginning of my senior year.
Of high school?
No, in college.
At Georgetown?
Because I used to play like 5 minutes a game. So I used to come to back Alonzo Mooney up in the game, so I was nothing. To me, I was just, okay, let me just enjoy the ride like I was in the back on the bus. I enjoy it, but when I got close to my senior year, Coach Thompson said, son, I think if you just do what I'm telling you, you have a chance to make a lot of money.
Coach Thompson invited Bill Russell, who was his good friend of his mentor, to come speak to me. He told me if I can go and do what he's telling me, I have a better chance to win 11 rings, which I haven't won one. But I got a chance to dominate the game in the same caliber as he did.
Over to Tillman, and Mark way off the mark, but Mutombo with the follow. The international language. We'll get a correction in a minute as Mutombo leads the break. Bryant inside, Mutombo got the roll to Tillman in front court. Mutombo, nice play. Price inside, Mutombo got a piece of it.
You speak 7 different languages, but the language you didn't speak when you came to Georgetown was English.
Yeah.
That was when you first started speaking
I knew alphabet.
Dikembe Mutombo's story is unlike any other. The giant arrived in the United States not speaking English and with only a basic understanding of basketball. He spent several seasons as a simple substitute behind the star Alonzo Mourning before truly blossoming as a junior. Standing 7'2" tall, Mutombo could score, but that was not his main strength. No, the Congolese player was an exceptional shot blocker who defended the paint as if his life depended on it. The center won the title of Defensive Player of the Year twice. At already 25 years old and having only started playing basketball a few years earlier, Dikembe Mutombo was naturally headed toward the NBA.
What it was like when you got your first paycheck as a basketball player for the Denver Nuggets?
I couldn't believe it. First, when I signed the contract, I hugged my lawyer. I hugged him so long, like he was my wife. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, whew, I'm a millionaire.
Dikembe Mutombo! If you really want to play, you need to really work hard. I don't be intimidated by nobody. I will dominate at some point.
I think maybe one of the boldest statements I've ever read from a rookie is the fact that you said that you would dominate.
Maybe in 2 years or 3 years, I think I will be in the same level whereas Patrick, Dave Robinson, Hakeem, all those big sons.
I knew from day one I want to become somebody. I knew that I don't want to play the game just for 5 years. I want to play for a long time, and I want to break some records.
Fourth pick in this year's NBA draft, 7'2", from Georgetown, number 55, Dikembe Mutombo.
Buck Williams takes it inside of Mutombo, and a away from behind. Number 3, 3 with the jump hook.
Mutombo cleans the board.
Mutombo comes out of nowhere.
Double team, how deep Mutombo gets. And the thing is, oh, God. Dikembe Mutombo, absolutely.
Oh, it's always nice to be home. After a long trip, it's nothing like your bed. You know, I hate those hotel beds, but I like to be home. Like it's getting cold, I can't take it no more. Everything is big because I'm 7'3". Everything around
The house of Mutombo was built according to me and my size and my height.
NBA Defensive Player of the Year.
And one thing make me proud is rebounding and blocking shots. And I'm hoping to win a couple more of these before I retire.
At already 25 years old, Dikembe Mutombo did not have time to wait. The rookie became a master of the paint and allowed Denver to finally stop being a sieve. Accumulating blocks by the handful, Mutombo created his famous signature finger wag at every action. Not in my house.
It's a very subtle kind of, but very meaningful taunt. It is a taunt, isn't it? It's a reminder.
Just let the guys know that please don't come in my house. Please let me know before you come.
Dikembe Mutombo was selected for the All-Star game in his rookie year. In less than a year, the Congolese player had become one of the best defensive players in the entire NBA.
That's my signature there. Let people know just you can't fly in the house of Mutombo without permission.
Denver, 1994. It had been 3 seasons since Dikembe Mutombo carried the Nuggets defense on his shoulders. But that year, the team was finally back in the playoffs. Opposite him was the nightmare of every NBA paint, a bulldozer named Shawn Kemp.
Kemp releasing down court, but Payton didn't see him. There he does. Now he does. Here's a 3-on-2. Kemp picks Mark Jackson, gets the give and go.
All over that rebound like a bad suit. Out of backcourt, he comes out of the blocks on fire. Oh, raging right-handed tomahawk jam from the Rain Man.
In 1993 to 1994, the Seattle Supersonics were the NBA sensation. Led by Gary Payton and Shawn Kemp, the team had finished the season with the best record in the league. Let's not forget that Michael Jordan had retired that year. The path was wide open for the Seattle Supersonics to claim the title. Facing them in the first round of the 1994 playoffs, a much less formidable Denver Nuggets team. So, who was playing for Colorado alongside Mutombo? Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, Brian Stith, LaFonso Ellis, and Reggie Williams. Good players, certainly, but no stars. A glaring sign of the team's weak threat was that none of these names averaged more than 18 points per game during the regular season. Let's remember that at that time, the first rounds of the playoffs were played in a best-of-5 format. In short, it was written, these raw Denver Nuggets were going to be eaten in one bite.
The Sonics have outboarded the Nuggets 38-15. Left-hand dribble. Over to Payton high on the right, dashes in, slants, double team, over to Kemp, 15-footer,
How could it be otherwise? Far too superior, Seattle won the first 2 home games. The best team in the league was holding its ground and now needed just one more victory to move to the next round.
I heard in the background, sweep, sweep, sweep. Did you hear that?
Oh, yeah, we hear sweep, but, in the playoffs, you got to take one game at a time. If we can go to Denver and sweep and get some rest, I think it'd be good for them.
The Seattle Supersonics came to McNichol Arena. They have a bus loading with the luggage, and the plane was warming up. They was ready to leave because they knew that they was going to sweep us.
I heard in the background, sweep, sweep, sweep.
The best overall record in the league, the best.
First, so many people didn't think we was going to make a playoff. And when we made a playoff, we was first against Seattle. And they went and beat us so bad in the first 2 games that it was like, oh, you guys are done.
But the Nuggets are completely befuddled.
And went to sleep, wake up in the morning, told the world that I have such a great dream and that we won the series. People was like, get out of here.
Reggie Williams back out to good Abdul-Rauf.
And Mutombo comes over to swat it away. Kendall Gill, Mutombo, 81-point performance. Gill, Mutombo rejects it again.
We did it on Monday night, and we're gonna do it tonight. So let's get ready to Mutombo!
And Mutombo gets in front of it. Wide open again is Shrimp. And he finds Perkins, rejected from behind by Mutombo. Kim, block of a shot. 6. Sam Burton's blocked by Mutombo.
Keep the 45%.
Reggie Williams with a block. Young team. It is an emotional team, and they have ridden that to 2 wins and a 5th and final game against the
Seattle. Even though they're the #1 seed and Denver barely gets in at #8, they had their hands full with Denver. They split the 4 games, and they had a lot of trouble with Dikembe Mutombo.
Incredible. Left for dead, these Denver Nuggets were more alive than ever. We are on May 7th, 1994. Night of Game 5 of the first round playoffs. Who would have believed this series would go to a decisive final game? One thing was certain. Dikembe Mutombo had come too far not to believe anymore.
Okay, but they don't take advantage of the mismatch.
Rolls made up. Mutombo. Alfonso Ellis and then Shrimp blocked by Mutombo. A record-setting block. Way short. That's it. Mutombo embraces the ball and the unlikely upset. One of the great upsets in NBA.
When we won, I just grabbed the ball and I started crying because I just cannot believe we won this game. For me, coming in and going and get 35 block shots in 5 games,
right,
set the NBA record that not been set by nobody. That's unbelievable.
The Denver Nuggets entered the history books. Never before had an 8th-seeded team eliminated a 1st-seeded team. With a record 31 blocks, Dikembe Mutombo averaged 6.2 blocks per game in the series. There was no doubt, nobody could enter the Congolese Giants' house. We remember the Nuggets' legendary upset, but history has forgotten what happened next. Yes, Denver almost caused another upset by pushing the Utah Jazz to a Game 7. The 1993 to 1994 season remains memorable. It was supposed to be the ascent of the young Denver Nuggets. It was not. Dikembe Mutombo was crowned Defensive Player of the Year in 1995. A year later, he left the Nuggets amid general incomprehension. Unable to build a roster around the center, Denver preferred to let him leave rather than offer him a large contract. Bernie Bickerstaff, Denver's GM at the time, later expressed, "We tried, but the owners did not want to give Dikembe a long-term contract. This will remain the greatest regret of my career." Dikembe Mutombo eventually went to Atlanta. In Georgia, he won 2 more Defensive Player of the Year titles. But once again, the center was far too alone. He claimed a 4th Defensive Player of the Year trophy in 2001 with the Philadelphia Sixers. Although aging, he supported Allen Iverson in reaching the NBA Finals, lost to the Lakers. When Dikembe Mutombo retired in 2009, he was universally recognized as one of the greatest defenders in history. His cultural impact was immense. His finger wag imitated countless times, but never equaled.
You know, I used to get fined $1,000 for waving my hand, man. I pay a lot of money, man. This finger wave, it cost me a lot of money.
What I'm doing is just setting an example, not just for the African, and also for anybody who are playing sport or go out becoming successful, that I feel that we do have an obligation to give something back in the place that we came from.
He wasn't just an ambassador, he was the ambassador.
A true giant with a big heart, Dikembe Mutombo spent his life giving joy to fans on the court, but above all, giving back to his native Africa. His charitable actions are countless and make Mutombo a role model and an inspiration. Dikembe Mutombo passed away in September 2024, but his memory remains vivid in all minds. We hope that this episode helped you discover this basketball legend. No doubt, Heaven's playgrounds are now much more competitive.